Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Brothers PAX East 2018 special. This is day 2. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, Todd Stark.
Hello.
Returning again is Laceya Finley.
Hello.
And Wicked Beth.
Greetings.
She rolled her G.
She did.
I think I'm going to go to Walmart and get that t-shirt.
It's a new thing. You gotta roll the G's.
Yeah.
The G's.
So we had another busy and exhausting day.
Yes.
My feet hurt.
Yeah, as little time as we actually had today, I kind of felt like we got more games in this
I played
today,
games today,
which I was a little surprised at. So we got a lot more hands-on. We actually split off a little bit more than last time. So I think we all have kind of a decent amount of games to talk about among us all. But I want to start it off. And let's talk about Guacamelee 2 because we all got to play it together.
Yes.
That was
Would
fun.
you say that was the highlight of your day, Stephen?
Well, someone would have said that, and I think
You might be right.
he had a highlight. We highlighted his day just a little bit.
Who?
I think so.
Tap, because
Tap stream.
the tap stream, because he was so eager and anxious to know that it was there. He reminded me, so I thank him for that, for reminding us that it was there, because I know I marked it, but I completely forgot. And then he's like, I just found out Guacamelee 2 is at PAX East, and I'm like, thank you for reminding me.
This Tap sounds like an awesome guy.
He is.
I was gone
Pretty
the day
good
he was
people.
here.
Yeah, I mean,
then you really missed out, man.
he will definitely be a
missed out.
return
I was
guest.
excited and I missed out.
Yeah, he'll definitely come back, and on a time that you will be there.
Yeah.
So you can actually talk to him. But
Tap, if you're listening, I miss you.
so from what we learned immediately, this is a different type of game from Guacamelee, the original, in the fact that it's a 4-player co-op, not 2-player.
Yeah.
So that was a new addition. It looked gorgeous from what we saw.
so
The
good.
the graphics were much more in tune and refined than they were in the last game. So it looked great.
Well, I think they've got a little beast mode for PS4 Pro.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was on the Pro, right?
Yeah. Running on the Pro.
I think so.
So, but he said it wasn't running at the highest capacity that it could have been, and it still looked great.
Yeah, I think he said they had the HDR going, but there was no 4K while we were there.
Right.
Right.
You could really tell the colors were popping.
So, impressions, guys. What did you think?
Man.
Well, especially for anybody who's not played it. Now, Lace and Beth, have you guys played the original?
I have recently purchased it. I've yet to dive into it.
That's my first experience ever.
Okay. Now, in knowing us, kind of knowing where that game is, the mechanics are very much similar. Everything that you saw there really wasn't anything different in that regard. I mean, obviously, the platforming and everything tweaked it a little bit, but
it felt more responsive.
Yes,
A little bit,
But in essence, what you played there, you're going to kind of play in the first one, except it'll be 1 player or 2 players if you have a second person along. But anyway, what were your thoughts?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a little chaotic, but it brought excitement to me at the same time because it was fast paced and it was very. The reaction time was very sensitive, which took a minute to get used to. But I liked it, and you kind of have to be quick like that in the game. And but I think I picked up on it, pretty quick. And I would definitely play it again. And I loved that you could play it with 4 people. It was so fun. It'd be awesome if it was like multiplayer online instead of local.
Yeah, they did say it was only local. Yeah.
Well, that was there. I believe you can do it online.
No, I heard somebody ask and they said nope. Coach.
No, they were talking about there today.
Oh, I thought they meant.
We'll find out. I think Beth is right, though. I think the guy said it was local.
Because they were friends and they are from different states and they're like, oh, well, that sucks because I'm from over here.
Oh, okay. I thought he said, is it today? Is it just couch co-op only today? I thought that's what he said.
Now, that does raise the question, are they going to implement that later on? Because
would have been a nice question to ask.
Yeah, because, I mean, it would be a good addition. I'm sure a lot of people would like that. But at the same time, it kind of brings back couch co-op a little bit. Yeah. Because a lot of games are actually going back to that, which I like.
Yeah, what was that? What was the game that came out from EA?
No.
The Getaway? No, not Getaway.
A Way Out.
A Way Out.
A Way Out.
Is it good?
It is good.
I want to play that game.
It is really good. And that one is local or online for that particular. Yeah, you can have both. Okay. And the nice thing I think about that one is like you only have to buy the 1 copy and you get a code for a friend.
Oh,
that's cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
But at least in understanding that, the option is there. So it's whether or not it's viable for them to add it later on. So, which I'm sure a lot of people will call for.
Well, didn't the original one, was it online with another player at all?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
So, anyway, your impressions.
Same thing. Very fast paced, very chaotic. I completely kept losing track of which character was mine. And playing with Steven makes it so much better because he'll just run to the other side and your character just zips over there anyway. So before I even figure out what's going on. But I think I was at a disadvantage. I honestly think my controller was dying because I would hit buttons and my character wouldn't do anything. So I feel like I didn't get to actually have the full experience there. So I'm not going to fault them for that at all because you guys said everything was working great for you. I would hit things and it just wouldn't respond, or I would try to hit the button to the joystick to move, and sometimes my character would just stay still. So but I could see myself getting super addicted to that game with friends, especially because there's going to be a lot of fighting and screaming and yelling at each other and a lot of salty tears going on there, but in a good way, you know. So it definitely makes me want to go back now and utilize that purchase that I just made this week and finish that first one, or even start it at this point, because I bought it and we left for PAX, so I haven't had a chance to.
That's what Todd and I were saying. It's like, I want to go back and play the original now, because that just, it reignited that flame. It's like, this was a really good game. Not that we forgot, but you know, it was fun playing it again, saying, God, I want to play this again.
Well, it was that perfect mix of, well, it's like Metroidvania, like they say, you know, you got the backtracking, but...
And did you see that, by the way?
Yeah.
The reference, I don't know if you guys saw that, but what was it, the power-up, the chicken shot that we got?
Shot. Yeah.
The chicken shot, if you're familiar with Metroid at all, every time you get a new power-up for Samus in the game, it's in the form of a statue, and you go up to it and you collect it from that statue. Where we got the chicken shot was a statue that looked just like one of those from Metroid, so that was a nice little wink and a nod.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then the chicken come out and told you what it was.
Mm-hmm. So, now, what did you think, real quick, before I get into any more
I thought it was
detail?
awesome. I mean, it did get chaotic with 4 players, but I mean, look how much stuff was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there was 15, 20 enemies on the screen.
Yeah.
In some places, the boss battle was awesome.
Yeah.
So that was one thing from the first game that carried over. It seemed like your first boss you fought in the first Guacamelee was tough. Got tougher as it went. Last boss was incredibly hard. This one seemed pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine by yourself he would be hard. Those stupid platforms popping up with the spikes on
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Oh, that kept
Yeah, but
coming
I mean,
up.
he had a warning at least, you know, that read. Now, whether my character was going to actually jump out of the way when I was hitting the button was my biggest problem. And then I'd be off, like, following one of you guys going, that's not me. And I'm off in a corner hitting the wall or something, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm not contributing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I like the dialogue, too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
I thought
that's-
that was very funny. Had a lot of personality, so I was very entertained by
That was one thing from the first game they had a lot of.
Yeah, there were a lot of
I'd
little
say
winks
that.
and nods in the original game. If you're especially an old school gamer, there were just little things. They were just, you know, if you know your history, your gaming history, you'll see something like, I know what you're doing there. I know that reference. So I'm hoping to see more of that in this game. Yeah. Now, the demo that we played, I'm going to assume is probably the first level of the game, I would imagine, because it kind of had this starting point of the game. But maybe there's a little story or exposition that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
But we just kind of went through, what was it? I don't know.
It was 15 minutes, maybe?
Cavern or something?
Yeah. It looked a lot like the game, that part did. You know, you're like in, what is it, the World of the Dead?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it looked a lot like that.
Yeah, so we're essentially 15 minutes of this simple platformer, a lot of challenges thrown at us, trying to get us familiar with the controls, everything. We got to turn into chickens for a little while and flog people.
And they got big,
Cute.
the big
I
old
love
chickens.
the
You know,
little
just fighting.
ones. And then the big ones, but I love the little ones.
Yeah, they're fun. They run extremely fast on the game.
And that was one of the power-ups you get in the original Guacamelee, because for you two who haven't played it yet, you start off as, I guess he's just called the Luchador. I don't recall him having a name. He might have, but I just don't recall what it was.
Top fighter?
Yeah.
And then he got I can't remember, like his girlfriend got stolen by that, I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
it was a weird,
I don't remember.
Weird name. Took her to the underworld.
Yeah.
And you lost all your powers and you went after her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And then through each area that you go through, there's only so far you can go with each spot. So you'll it's like an open world map, and you'll go through several areas numerous times. But each area is blocked off because you don't have a specific skill or ability. And then when you get it, you can just circle back, just like in Metroid, and come back, and then you open up yet another area, and you go through that.
But they don't do it to the point where you get annoyed with it. You have a small area you have to go back. It's not like you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level. That's where some games do that, and they make you go too far. You know, so you get tired of it.
So, anyway, from what we got to see, if you're familiar with the game, this is going to be more of the same. Not in a bad way by any means. This is a great franchise that they're building here, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when it does come out. And he said summer, maybe?
Projected. He said it's not unreasonable to believe that the summer would happen, but they definitely had some bugs and some refining and stuff like that they wanted to do. So nothing solid yet.
Yeah,
we seen one of the bugs.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
It was a boss.
We didn't even realize it, and we were still trying to do it. And the dev comes over. He's like, "Actually, let me restart that boss for you." And we're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, we were all like hitting him. It wouldn't.
Yeah, it was like, "Why? What are we doing wrong?"
Yeah.
That's actually.
I just thought we were doing a really good job. You know, like he just couldn't get out of that corner. But no.
But for all of you interested, he said PS4 and PC is what it's projected for at the moment. Summer possibly. So I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to that.
I was glad we got to play it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who wants to go first? Anyone got anything?
Ladies first.
Beth?
I'm trying to think of, I feel like I got to play a lot of the games that we talked about yesterday that you guys played that I didn't get to play, so I wanted to play them. So
okay, well, what did you think? You got to play Detroit Become Human. What was your thoughts on it?
I loved that. I watched Lace play it the first day, and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I love the graphics. But once you actually play the game, it's like on a whole nother level. Just having that control, and I guess like when you have to make a decision and it's timed, and it's like, oh my God, what is the best answer? And you really have to just go with your gut.
That probability thing dropping or raising the whole time. You're like, oh shit, I just screwed that up.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I like under pressure stuff like that. What I didn't like is some of the, and you mentioned this too, is some of the camera angles.
Yeah. And I feel like David Cage has always done that, honestly. Yeah. Like, it's always been kind of sort of a fix.
I didn't notice. You knew you could hit R1 to change the camera angles, right?
I was, but it wouldn't stay for me.
Like, it'll change very little. Just like maybe instead of looking at this wall, now you're looking at that wall.
It'll kind of go around you and then kind of go up above you, kind of, sort of. Yeah. Because you were looking for the gun under the table at one point. And
I was like, I know I have to get that gun somehow, and I was trying to maneuver around the table.
But you never changed the thing, so I didn't know if you knew you could do it, and I didn't want to go,
I was trying at that point, but I don't think it was letting me or something. That's why I kept walking around in circles to try.
Sometimes you'll get stuck in a corner, and you're just like, the camera angle's just not going to move.
Beth hits L1 when she thinks she's hitting R1 sometimes.
God, I'm dyslexic, okay?
She was doing that whenever we was changing the chicken during Guacamelee. She's like, I'm hitting it. I'm like, that's L1.
Point out my flaws to the world.
That's not R1.
Right? Let's get back to the game, man. Let's get back to the game. Leave her alone.
I loved the game.
Yeah.
But can I talk about the game that I didn't play?
Sure.
Okay. So, what is this one? The Kaet one?
Kaet Must Die.
Kaet Must Die. Okay, so Laceya said I would love this game.
Yeah, I
went
think
over.
You would.
I love horror games, and I checked it out. The dev was super cool about it, and he's like, oh yeah, we made this very hard on purpose. We know people who love horror games get bored quick, so we want to make it super hard and scary, and it was awesome. Like, you have to stay in the light. I figured out how to. At first I was putting like light balls everywhere, but then I figured out how I can just hold the light in my hand, but then you have to be careful because you have to pick these mushrooms and you have to keep the light charged and everything. But the monsters, like, you have to be super, super careful. There's like so much going on at the same time and so much creepiness and the noises and the noise
once you put on the headphones. Yeah.
It's, and then like he was telling us how he loved the what is it, the like the mental effect on people with the noises and like the different levels of high pitched screams and creepiness and putting the timer on there and just watching people freak out about that and stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even notice the timer at first because like when I first went over there, I was playing it on the Switch, so I didn't have a headset or nothing like that, right? And so then when a PC opened up, he moved me over there, which I already noticed out of the corner of my eye. He started filming after the first time I screamed my head off when I almost dropped the controller. And so he's like, yeah, come over here. When he puts this on, he puts the headset on, he puts the camera right in my face. He's like, don't mind the camera. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I start playing it. And then he taps on the screen. He goes, and don't mind the timer. And I'm like, I didn't even know I had a timer. I wasn't even looking at that. Yeah. So, and then I start screaming at little noises and all this stuff. And he said that they actually didn't have a timer when they first did it. And he's like, and it seemed like it was just getting to be too easy for people to like figure it out. So he's like, he wanted that extra set of the intensity for you, and he's like, and he wanted a game that made you feel helpless and hopeless.
That's for damn
because
sure.
the first 2 times I got attacked, I went, well, how do I fight it? And he goes, you don't. And I was like, great. So now you got to sneak around. There's like Ewok things that run at you lightning speed when they see you, and then there's the zombies. You got to zombies, I guess is what it is.
They're not like obvious. They're dark colored, and the game is very dark, so it's easy to run into them super
they're
fast.
laying like in a corner dead.
Yeah.
And they just jump up and smack you.
I think within 10 seconds.
Like with the first 5 friggin' seconds, I ran right into the zombie, scared the shit out of me. Jumped. I was like, oh my god!
It was just a dark corner. I didn't even know anything was going to be around the corner. I turned the corner and all of a sudden I'm dead. And I screamed like, what just happened? You know?
She quit picking up all the notes after that. I noticed. She's like, I'm not touching that note. Because every time there was a note, you see a zombie sitting against the wall.
And there was a skull next to the zombie, too. And I'm like, oh my god.
Which is what you find out you have to get. So you're supposed to collect all these skulls.
And you put them on like a pole or whatever. But he was happy that I figured that out. I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm proud of myself about that. But yeah, that game's super fun. I'm definitely gonna get it. It's on Steam. I think it's like $12.50 or something like that. But
who was the developer for that?
Hold on. I think Sin Studios.
Oh, okay.
Sin Studios. They were really nice.
But they were
really
good.
Cool.
They were good guys.
I think the dev I was talking to, his name was Scott. I think.
Yeah, Scott. That was it.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he was really cool guy.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I did like that game. I would absolutely play that again. I pretty much told him I'm a streamer and I would love to stream it. So he said he's gonna be in contact with me with like keys and stuff. So I'll try to cosplay it too. Get all hyped up.
Nice.
Get all hyped and stuff.
Yeah. So anybody looking forward to that, you can see it on Beth's stream very soon. Hopefully. Kaet Must Die, and it's not spelled
Kaet.
Yeah. There you go. So look it up, guys. Kaet Must Die. It seems like a fun little romp if you like horror games.
It is a romp. It is definitely a romp.
It is a romp.
Scared the crap out of me, that's for sure.
Lace, what do you got?
Man, I played so many today. One of them I came across, Verdant Skies. So it was like a simulation game. So like it started off with like you're in this rocket ship or like a spaceship or whatever, and you crashed on this place. Mm-hmm. But it's very upbeat,
right?
Very kid friendly, I think too. Kind of reminded me a little bit of like Stardew Valley.
Okay.
So you're walking around, you build relationships with the people that are there by talking with them. Right or wrong answers could either make that relationship go up or down, and you're rebuilding this base this land that you got there. So you're collecting lumber for your house or stone or scrap metal that's laying around, and you're planting the things and doing all that kind of stuff. And it's one of those that I could see myself just like time sink, like you just think, I'm just going to play one more day. And it's 3 a.m. Okay. So like I sat there for a while, kept looking over my shoulder, making sure nobody was waiting for it. But yeah, you're growing these relationships. And what I thought was really cool, because I did talk with the devs a little bit after I played it. It's a husband and wife team. And she did all of the story dialogue, and he did a lot of the graphic and adding all that kind of stuff in there. And one of the things that was important to them was making it handicap accessible as well.
Nice.
So after getting a lot of feedback about that, there are options in the menu for if you're colorblind, and they have tested it, that people are able to do that. And also for people who are hearing impaired, there's this different thing that you can turn on there so they can hear specific noises or what have you that lets them know specific triggers in the game for what's going on. And I thought that was a really cool
That's
thing
very
that they
cool.
went out of their way to get feedback on and implement into their game. So yeah, they were just a super sweet little team. It was just really cute to listen to them both talk about it. And I definitely think if you like those, like just kind of a casual simulation kind of game, you'll definitely really think this is a cute game. I think she said it was like $15 or whatever on Steam right now. I'd have to get the card out right now to figure that out. But I could see myself getting sunk into this game for
sure.
those nights you just kind of want to chill and sit back and play just like a game that doesn't require me to like be on the ball or like having a reaction time. Yeah, definitely. I would check that one out.
Well, we'll definitely tag them in there. If anyone wants to check that out, we'll tag them on Twitters.
On the Twitters.
On the Twitters.
For the tweets. Beth and Andy was their name.
Beth and Andy.
Beth and Andy.
Okay. And
Sounds
what
like
the name of it was again?
Verdant
Skies. I hope I'm
Verdant
saying that right.
Skies. I do
Verdant.
believe I did see that one. That was near one of the other ones we were
Yeah, it was like
playing.
on the corner
Yeah.
of one of the
I think I did see
aisles
that.
there.
I would check it out. Maybe we'll get to
The graphics is what kind of caught me because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
because yes, I used to play The Sims and stuff like that all the time. So I was like, oh, what do we maybe have over here? You know, and then when one opened up, you know, I sat down. I'm like, yeah, I could see me getting into this thing. And they also had like when you were crafting things, you don't craft it. It was a 3D printer that you had in the game, and you would gather
really?
the
That's
materials
interesting.
for it, go over to the 3D printer, and wait however long the game decides until it's done. My only complaint would be is that it is on a system for your energy level. So you start your day at like, I don't know, let's say it was 7 a.m. I can't remember now when you wake up. After like chopping down 2 trees worth, you're tired, like you can't move on. And now it's 11 a.m. So you can't nap. As far as I could tell, if I missed this feature, then I do apologize if I'm misspeaking. But when I went to bed to get the energy, now it's the next day. So that was, unless there was a feature that I missed when I wasn't thorough enough in poking around, if maybe there was food I was supposed to eat or an energy drink or something like that. So if that's not in there, maybe something to think about. And if it is, then I apologize if I missed it.
Fair enough.
So.
Well, we'll find out eventually.
Right,
So hopefully.
because I will be looking into it for sure. I will be looking into it.
Before I move on, I just want to say, if you hear any background noise of any kind
Yes.
that just kind of strangely odd to you, there's a nice delivery route next to where we're staying.
Our B&B's right in the middle of a bunch of bars, people.
Yeah,
so
you may hear all sorts of things. It's nothing we're doing in here. It's outside. So we apologize for their stupidity or whatever they're doing out there. I don't know.
or for us thinking we can film a podcast. here.
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
who do we think we are trying
Who
to
do we
record
think
a
we are?
Brings the essence of Boston into
Right.
this podcast.
That's
okay.
right.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough.
Boston nightlife at your back door. Literally.
Todd, do you have a game that you'd want to talk about that you got to play?
Donut County.
Donut County, yes. Let's talk about
I
that.
was looking for that one. I was excited to see it yesterday. It was as cute and as relaxing and very satisfying as I thought it was going to be.
Absolutely.
Very satisfying.
It's kind of like taking a dump, man. Kind of like taking a dump. You put something down the hole. It was awesome. Like
And the hole keeps growing.
yeah, the hole gets bigger and bigger, just like a dump, right? So, you start off, you're the little bitty tiny hole. Mm-hmm. You move around, you start sucking things in it. Like it kind of.
How you take a dump?
Oh,
Just like a
you're gonna
dump,
dump
yeah.
the wrong way.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, we've gone to the bad
We're
place.
not talking about the dump anymore.
Okay, okay.
I know. I'm really
Just
confused
the
what the game's
sensation
actually
of
about
taking a
now
dump
because I did
is how
not
this
see
game
this.
made you feel.
Yeah, it made me feel satisfied like taking a dump. And I'm pretty sure that hole's. Never mind.
Okay, never mind. All right,
talk about the game.
Talk about the game.
I'm taking a dump. This is like the 5th time we talk about a dump.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
we just
But,
keep doing it.
I thought it was just cool. Like you go in and you're playing as you're the raccoon. I don't understand if he has. I guess he has a donut.
Yeah,
place.
they never
Yeah.
really specified because we might have been thrown into the middle
Yeah.
of a story. That's what it seemed like.
It was because kind of like you went to a certain spot and all of a sudden you kind of went, well, I didn't do any of this, but
Yeah,
you start out as you see what Myra was her name?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, a little girl. She is texting with a raccoon.
I know.
And their talk back and forth was pretty funny, And then what'd she say? The honking man's bother me.
Yeah.
And it's somebody outside, and you got to go over and you physically pull the shades back.
Yeah.
And there's somebody out there on a scooter honking their horn, so he's like, well, I'm going to take care of him. And all of a sudden, you go out there around in that little area, the yard, there's like a little fence. There's the dude on the scooter. It was actually a rabbit, I think.
No, I think it was a duck.
Was it a duck? Okay,
Yeah.
a duck.
Or a goose.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you're
It
right.
was a fowl of some kind.
Yes, it was a fowl. And a donut drops out of the sky, and then a hole forms. And then you start figuring out what do I get first to make the hole big enough to get the next thing and next thing. Of course, Donut County is what it says on the ground. You start sucking up all the letters, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until finally you can get the honking man.
Yeah.
And then that level's over. Then you go, I think at that point, did it not go into...
It transitioned to like a scene underground.
Like they said,
all these
990 feet underground?
Yeah.
And they're like, you just ruined the town. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Because, there was another interaction with Myra and the raccoon. He was talking about, hey, what's going on? She says, nothing. He's like, guess what? I'm level 9 now.
Yeah.
And guess what level 10 is? I get my quadrocopter, She's like, oh, great. Well, the next thing you see, they're underground, and the copter's all smashed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it got smashed. I guess we'll see that later. But he's like playing like he's not the victim. Like he's the reason they're all down there, sitting around this campfire 990 feet underground. There's the donut shops down there. Everything he's sucked in the donut holes down there. And he's like, I'm not. Why are we off? My copter got smashed. That's what the important thing is. And then you go back up and you do some more stuff. And I noticed you come back down. So I don't know. Cool story, I guess.
Yeah, there's a very unique story. I think they were just kind of giving us a taste
Yeah.
of the uniqueness of the story. So it really kind of makes you want to know what the hell's going on here,
Yeah,
because
it seems so much fun. Like
and it's very relaxing in a
Yeah.
way
It's
because
relaxing.
it's
Very
so
relaxing.
simple in the concept. Now you kind of referenced it or compared it to
the Katamari games.
yes, Katamari.
A lot of how you rolled around, got the balls, you had to figure out how to roll and everything. It's kind of like the same kind of strategy.
But I mean, I got to play it too. Beth got to play it. It was just, I don't know, for something so simple, it's fun. You know, just trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to get next? I'll just move over here. It's a very simple game, but it's so much fun.
I wanted to get all the pots. They were stacked up on each other.
Yeah,
I wanted to drop right underneath them, let them fall right in. I think you
I
did.
did it.
You did it.
Yeah.
I broke every damn pot. Every one of them. I was just picking up all the pieces.
And and funny enough, I was sitting there thinking about the design of that after we were talking about it. There's probably not a reason to do that, but mentally in your head, it's like, I wonder if I could just put it right there and just let them all slide in. I bet you I could do that. So you challenge yourself for something you don't have to do, but you want to do it. You want to see it all just fall in. But I broke all the pots too.
Yeah, I got all the benches was cool. I got the edge of the bench and it popped up, and then I just jiggled it forward. It went straight up and fell in. It kind of did that all the way around. Then I broke every damn pot.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
yeah,
think it's
it
gonna
was
be a good game.
It's definitely a fun one. I remember they released a trailer for it.
Yeah.
When
The
was it?
raccoons sitting around, 2 raccoons talking, and everything was getting sucked up around them in the hole.
And that was a few months ago, wasn't it?
That was at E3, I believe.
Was it at E3?
Yeah. I think we
May
seen it
have
at
been,
E3.
yeah. But I was excited for it then. I'm excited about it now, even more so.
Yeah.
Actually getting to have it. I would probably buy that day one.
I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah, it's. We didn't get a date that I saw.
I didn't see one either.
I would imagine this is probably one of those $15, $20 games,
I'd say so.
but well worth it.
Yeah.
As far as
It
I'm
was
concerned. So Donut County,
Donut County.
definitely worth
Thumbs
a
up.
look. And as far as I know, PlayStation 4,
I
maybe PC, because I know I saw that trailer under the PlayStation banner.
It was under PlayStation,
That's where I saw it.
but I feel like I don't know. I'm not.
I didn't catch it, so we won't say for sure.
because all those games over there were some of them they were playing them on Windows and an Xbox controller.
But no, we were playing that on a PlayStation.
We were
So
playing
that's
it on
a fact.
PlayStation. Yes, that's
Okay.
a fact. But there was some like the Outer Wilds that was right there.
Yeah.
They were playing those on with the Xbox controller on Windows. So
Yeah.
if it goes on Windows, it's probably going to be on Xbox.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Annapurna was the developer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff over there going different ways.
Sure,
so.
sure. I'm going to talk about 2 games real quick. I'm going to kind of gloss over one because we talked about it a lot yesterday, which was Evergate. I got to play it myself, hands-on. I felt like I breezed through it. And Lace, you kind of made a comment, which is probably true. I was watching her play it, so I was very familiar with the mechanics. I was kind of familiar with the layout, remembering when you were playing it, saying, okay, this is what she did. So there was a lot of internal memory saying, do this, do this, do this. So I breezed through it pretty quick. And the developer, which one was it? I can't remember.
Kent.
Was it Kent?
Kent, yes.
Perhaps.
Ariel is the other
Sorry.
one. Sorry. Please don't hate us.
Yes, no, we love
You're
you
all
guys.
lovely. No, I want to say Ken is correct.
We're still trying to get there.
I played the game, but I had no idea of the mechanics, so I played it blind. So I had a hell of a time, especially because you shut up right now. I had a hell of a time because that's not a typical game that I've really have experience playing, and I'm still fairly new with the controller. Way more of a PC gamer. PlayStation 4 is just recently within like the year into my life, so I'm just starting to hang on that. So I didn't know the dev came over and told me the technique of, holding it at max and then moving with it. Once he told me that, I started having a better time with it. But then I started feeling a lot of pressure. I was like, all right, I have to like come back when there's not so many people around, but it is a game I would sit and play for hours, even if I'm stuck in the same damn spot.
I know, she was stuck on it. She's like, okay, just one more time, and then I'm gonna go because people are playing. And then she would do it
like
5
10
more
times later, one more time. It's so fun. I really can't wait to play this game when it comes out.
It was kind of like being a lead guitar player. I was standing behind her, and she was hitting all the licks, and I was like, I can do it better.
Why didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Fair
wanna,
question.
Yeah, it was a fair question. But there was a guy waiting in line behind me, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go. I didn't want to hold anybody else up. But that's what lets me know how good of a game that is because I wanted to play it just from watching her play it.
So did I.
And
That's
watching
why I came back.
because I got to see the rest of the levels. How crazy it gets.
He's over here like, oh my god, I just see the crazy shit Steven's doing over here, and I'm over here stuck at like basic level over here. I'm like,
but
shut
to be fair, I told you how to do the controller with the thing, and then you said, "Oh yeah, that works better." And then he come and told you, and
he worded it better.
"Oh,
he communicated that technique better than you did."
Imagine that. The guy who created the game
I said the same thing.
knows
He
how
tried doing
to
it all the way
articulate the
Yes.
mechanics.
Yep.
But what did he say to you about how fast I went through it? Like there was something
Well,
about...
he said he was judging about like how well the game was going by how fast people were able to get through the levels. Because like at first I thought he was just asking, did you get through all the levels? And I was like, well, he got through the ones through the demo, like you guys said. And he goes, no, we were looking for the time. So like he didn't say that yesterday. So I'm not really sure if like today they maybe thought people were breezing through the puzzles maybe too fast.
And I wasn't trying to be a show off or anything like that. I was like,
well, no, I was just
thinking
thinking
it
maybe
through.
in his mind, do we got to make it a little tougher?
but see, we
towards
haven't
that
seen the
level?
entire game yet.
We have
So
not.
I think
We have not.
if that's their starting point, perfect.
No, I think that's great as a starting
Yeah.
point. So I hope they don't change
No, because
anything
that-
for that beginning, because that's a great way to introduce you to how it's done.
The mechanics are all there. We get sucked in immediately. It's like, I want to keep playing
Yeah.
this.
It is.
Yeah, no, it's a
addicting.
great
The
game.
design,
fantastic.
the art design is just outstanding.
Right?
Honestly,
Gorgeous.
It really
And
is.
I'll even say that there was a moment or two where I was frustrated, but it was at myself because I knew what I needed to do,
Right.
and I would keep screwing up. I was like, come on,
And
man.
you'd explode the wrong gem again by accident. You're
Yeah.
like, ah! So you got to restart that.
So
that was her biggest problem. I think she got frustrated with herself because what she was
Yeah.
doing, she would have it and she would do the 2 out of the 3, and then she would miss, and you got to start all over.
So that was when I was getting frustrated. It was just at me, not at the game. It was just like I knew what I needed to do. I was just screwing it up. I was like, all right, think this through, try it again. We'll get there.
I feel the same way with myself.
But not from a difficulty standpoint.
I mean, it was hard to hear how loud I was swearing with that headset on. So I think that's why he came over to help me.
Right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I was like, no, it's not the game, it's me. I put a lot of stress on myself, so.
But if you haven't figured it out already, how much we are excited about this game. I mean, this is day 2 and we're talking about it again because we love it so much. We got to talk to him. We got a picture taken with him. We're pushing this game. We want people
We're
to know.
fans. You've sold us, guys.
Yeah,
Good
I
job.
mean-
And this is their first game. Like,
Yeah.
that's what
That's
super
impressive.
impresses me.
And we're going to continue to push this game. Every time I hear something about it, like when it's going to release and all this stuff, I'm going to talk about it on this show. So you're going to hear more and more and more.
I was just begging them today, please put it on PS4.
Yeah, anything.
As long as I don't have to have internet to get this game, please put it on PS4.
Whatever it takes. But yeah, it's definitely fantastic. And again, guys, great job. Everything you're doing, we're going to continue to push it here. The next one I wanted to touch on real quick while I've got it, because I only played it for a moment, was Flipping Death. Now, you kind of mentioned that. Did you actually get to play it?
I did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we both did for like 5-10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I got to play it for a little bit. I actually played it on the Nintendo Switch. They had just uploaded it to that. They had a little side console where I could play it. If you've ever played Stick It to the Man, and I was trying to remember the developer, and it slipped in my mind.
Flippin' Death?
Yes, because it was the same developer for Stick It to the Man. The art design is the same. It's identical. If you've ever played Stick It to the Man, have either of you? Do you know that game?
I've heard of it. I've not played it.
Okay. Is it an alien that does it? That possesses your brain or something?
Yeah,
something gets in,
something
like your
that.
main character. It's very, like I said, the art design is so unique. Like you could not mistake it for anybody else. It's their art style.
Right.
And it's a very strange little tale where this guy gets a hand that comes out of his head or out of his brain through, I feel like it was an alien or something like that.
I think it was an alien.
And you have to traverse this city and go through this strange little adventure with this guy, with this alien, try to figure out how to get it out. And this kind of is in that same vein, the same kind of humor where it's, just very tongue-in-cheek and campy, little stuff like that. It's great humor from what I saw. The gameplay from what I got to play, you start off and you're supposedly dead.
Right.
And she's like,
no.
What am I doing?
Denial.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not dead. And they're like, yeah, you're dead. So she finally finds Death, and then Death is like, who are you again? You don't belong here. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you're a demon, right? And she's like, no, I'm not a demon. And he's like, oh my God, the temp has arrived. Oh, thank God. I've been waiting. And he lists off this insane time frame that he's been waiting for a break. And he's like, oh God, I'm going to take a vacation here. This is for you. Go at it. Now I'll see you later. And just takes off and ditches you. So now you have to be Death. So there were elements of characters, other ghostly figures trying to tell you what you needed to do. Zoink.
Oh, thank
yes,
you. Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. I even picked up one of their cards. I'm sorry. Zoink Games. I got to, they were telling you the idea of collecting souls that were floating around, and that will allow you to possess people in the real world, which I'm assuming, because I got pulled away from it, and I was trying to understand what the purpose of this game was, because granted, you have to be Death. But when you possess people in the real world, I really hadn't figured out what the purpose of that was. Like, I'm assuming you have to do something with the real people.
Well, didn't you?
I possessed the first person I possessed was some guy who was eating an ice cream cone, I think.
Yeah.
Ice cream cone, yep.
Yeah, and just kind of walking around with him, I was like, well, I don't know what to do here. So I kind of walked around and talked to a few people, and then I went back into the underworld, I guess is what we'll call it. And then I made my way to this one area where I possessed a dentist.
That was funny.
And I started chasing this little girl with a drill.
Oh, no.
And she's like, get away from me, get away from me. Ah!
That's so funny. I didn't make it that far about that.
But I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I'm just going to continue
Let's
to
just
hit you
torture
with this.
people now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did. And that was fun in its own right. And then I possessed the dentist. No, I possessed the little girl and started biting the dentist.
Yeah, you did. I mean, that helped. That ended that little thing, though, right? Didn't you?
I don't think so.
I thought the dentist disappeared.
He did. He ran out of the office.
Okay,
just
It
like
was
the
just a
little
cloud of
girl
dust
did
and he was
when I
gone.
did it
couldn't tell. I
earlier.
guess he's right by the door.
So I probably will play it a little bit more tomorrow if I get a chance, so I can understand the mechanics more. But what I played of it was fun. I like their art style. I like their humor. I like everything they're doing there. So I'm excited for that, and I was excited for it when I heard about it. Before that. So I was happy to actually get to play it a little bit today. But tomorrow I'm going to try again, and maybe I'll have a little bit more insight on it.
Just
but I
the
wanted to
name
touch on it.
Flipping Death is awesome.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I know. I loved it. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I need to play this right now. And I want to play the game that's next to it, Faye.
Yeah.
That one already out.
I do believe it is.
I think so.
I wanted to give that one a shot because it looks really cute. Like, cute dark,
So, Lace, what else do you have?
Outside of that, I played a couple VR games, indie VR games.
Mm-hmm.
First one I played was Luna. I just got really lucky that I walked up just as nobody was in line for it. he invited me over, and it's one of those that, and I'm not very familiar with doing VR. Like, I had only done VR one other time, if you include outside of those Samsung VR things.
Was
for
this on
the
Oculus or the Vive?
I believe it was the Oculus. Yes, the Oculus.
That's Facebook's.
That's Facebook.
Is it?
I have a quick question. How did the headset feel?
I think they're all crazy heavy. Like,
Really?
and I don't know, because...
The PSVR is not heavy. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Well, I
thing.
haven't done the
light.
PSVR.
Yeah.
The only other one, like I said, outside of that was like, remember when Samsung was hawking that thing with it? I'd done that, and then whatever it was
Was
at
it the
TwitchCon.
Gear? Is it called the Gear?
Yeah. Out of all three of those now, still, they all look like I'm looking through a screen door. So
That's the
I don't
screen
know
door
if there's
thing,
like
yeah.
a setting that you eventually get to adjust on your own if you buy it yourself.
No, that's
but
just the thing.
it was a
just
gorgeous
does it.
game. It was definitely one to just relax to. And even the dev said that was the whole point, is just you're in this universe that's all stars around you. And then this big budding flower would come up like literally right in front of me. And the only mechanic was like you had these two little claws and you would touch at a star and this world would appear, and then your job was to make it pretty, or to, like, it would be this cute little bird that would be in a nest, and like you'd lean forward and you're looking at it and you'd kind of poke it and he'd give you the side eye like, why you waking me up? And then this gorgeous owl would float down next to another tree, and you'd see this conversation kind of go back and forth between these two trees, and then like the horizon would kind of open up, and now there's another world at your disposal, and you could turn it around and replant the flowers and like just make it
That
your
sounds
own
very
little world.
relaxing.
I mean, I could have just sat there if they would have given me a chair. Like, I could have just been like, yeah, I'm relaxing here, and it was really cute. So I just played through whatever that first scenario would have been, finishing that world and watching how it unplayed and how all of the, the animals and everything were just like, yeah, cool. We can chill here. This is really great. Like,
Nice.
Thank you.
What was when we met up with y'all,
That, the
what was
take.
The take. How was that?
That was fun. Now, that's definitely different by far than Luna.
That's
Luna
like a
was very
competitive,
relaxing.
is what I've seen on the thing,
The
right?
take from Stuito Studios. I hope I said that right. Stuito Studios. It's a competitive game.
Right.
So it's meant to play with your friends as a party game kind of thing. And the one that I played was the 3-minute version. So apparently there's a small room, medium room, large room. You could set it for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But I had, intel. So the first person to go has intel that they need to hide. And there's certain booby traps that you can lay out, whether it be a trapdoor or like thing, or smoke that would fly in your face or whatever. So my job was to hide it in this big room. I could flip over vases. We could break all the things. I could flip the tables, in drawers and out of drawers, setting these traps. And so I'm supposed to hide it. And then the person playing after you is supposed to find it. And I knew I was going to be awful at this. So I had 3 minutes to do this. And I thought I'm being all clever. I'm trying to find a vase and it doesn't fit in the vase. And I'm dropping it. And then I'd move and I'd have to go back and get it. So I'm wasting all of my 3 minutes just trying to learn how to be in a VR world. Like how to move. And I'm hitting the wrong button. And apparently I had an inventory I kept forgetting about. So I could have been like stacking up booby traps. But no, I'd keep walking back across the room, try to stick it to the ceiling. And then, Z-Dog comes in and finds it in like 34 seconds, I think was the time. So I thought I was all clever by opening up a few drawers. He's going to think I was over here making a mess. And just as I grabbed a marker, I was totally going to write him a letter on the wall. Ran out of time. I was like, the marker. No, dang it. So, but that's a lot of fun. I can see that, like, you get a bunch of people together and play this game. It gets crazy. I know I went through the curtain once. Like, he's like, remember, you feel along the side that we have a little ridge on purpose. I was like, how many people have gone through the curtain? He goes, well, that's why we have the little ridge. So if you feel so I'm guessing like yesterday or even on Thursday, somebody's gone through that. Because like if you start going crazy with it, I knew I felt the curtain and I'm like, but there's a circle on the ground, which is nice. Like in the VR headset, you look down at your feet and there's a circle. So he's like, as long as you're staying in that circle, because the way you move through the VR was like pointing the plunger at something or whatever, and then you morph to it, instead of actually you physically. He's like, as long as you stay in that circle, you're in the safe zone,
I've punched my wall several times playing
I bet.
VR.
I bet.
I fell over at Steven's house hiding behind something on Super Hot. Yeah.
So I definitely, like, if you've got a VR, I believe this one was also on Oculus, actually.
It's on, I think I've seen Oculus, Vive, and PSVR.
Oh, so they did have for all that one. Okay.
I think they said the VR had a coming soon sign.
It said summer.
Summer.
Yeah.
I took
Summer.
a picture of it,
For,
but yeah, if you've got a
PSVR.
VR headset and you got some friends who want to come over and party, that would be a lot of fun.
And
What was it
PSVR,
called again?
$100 off right now.
You said
Is
the
it
Take,
really? Is it still?
Well, I think it's in the UK.
and you said it was called the Take.
The Take
So,
by
man,
Stuito. The reason why I got attracted to that stand in the first place is everything looked like a comic book.
Yeah.
And I saw VR and I saw comic book and I'm like, okay, yeah, what do you got going on over here? And it's the same when you're breaking things in the game, like a big like splat or whatever would
Oh,
splash
that's
in front of
cool.
your face, you know? So it was fun. It was
Very
fun.
cool.
It makes me wish I
Like
had
Batman.
VR, man.
Pow.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
I would just come up and punch Steven just so I could say
Well, thank
pow.
you.
But across the street.
All right, Todd, what do you got? Got anything else?
We played, what was that? My Memory of Us?
Yeah, My Memory of
Oh,
Us.
yeah, I got to go
Now,
back and do
this-
that one again.
The game reminded me a lot of
Not this war, about Valiant Hearts.
Valiant Hearts.
Yeah.
That's right.
It had that feeling. I don't know that it like emotionally got me like Valiant Hearts did,
Well,
because I was immediately sucked in to Valiant Hearts, and to be fair, we only played a small part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
This game. Now you see, was that little girl? She gets off the train. Is that her grandfather she's talking to? Like, he's asleep in the chair at this hotel. It looked like. And you go up and you find this book in an attic, and that was the whole
Yeah.
first little puzzle
Yeah.
you have to do. You come down, you give it to him, and he's like surprised, right? And then he sits you down, and it looks like he's telling you a story. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like parts were out of it. It seemed like.
Yeah, I'm curious if the story is told kind of through emotion.
Right.
Yeah, because
Because-
there's no actual dialogue.
No, it
No,
seemed to
they
be
talk
kind of.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
Like
it's like the
babies.
pictures that's trying
Yeah.
to show you what they're
Yeah.
thinking, or the thought bubbles.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the way they're trying to convey the story is through emotion,
Yeah.
and like you said, through sort of thought bubbles with pictures, so you kind of get a vibe of what they're doing.
Right.
So I think that will engage you emotionally if you
Yeah.
have the time to actually sit down and play it, because,
Right.
like you were saying, not really sure what's going on, and you're kind of playing these characters because the little boy comes in later on.
He comes. No, that's who you're playing with
Second.
first.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Well,
it is
yeah,
the
you're
boy
right.
second,
Well, I'm
yeah.
just talking about like you're right. The girl is first to find the book,
And then-
when you start getting into the mechanics of the game,
Yeah.
you're the boy first,
Yes.
and then you fall off the trash can into the trash can, and then you meet the girl. And it was cool because it was like when the girl's leading, you can run. Mm-hmm. Then you swap hands and you grab hands again, and the boy's leading, then you can sneak.
Right.
And you could, I guess, she picked the little boy up at one point, and he ran up a ladder and hit a button, and the elevator went up. So then you had to swap back and forth. It's kind of like, that reminded me of like the Cave or
Yeah.
the Brothers game. You're kind of controlling two people. Was it?
It reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog with tails.
No, not
The,
at all.
the
But see,
Tales of Two Lost Brothers or something like that.
yeah.
But their mechanic of making them hold hands to
Yes.
keep them together, I thought that was a nice little way
Yeah, I
because
I
that,
thought that was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's something I guess kids would do.
Yeah.
So you know, kind of dragging each other along. So I thought that was a nice way to do that.
In those games, to be fair, it's hard to demo those games.
Yeah.
Because you have to invest time and become emotionally attached to those plays. You can't do that in 15 minutes.
No.
Right.
And
So-
that's what I felt like I was doing, is rushing through it because I wanted to see the game. I wanted to see how it played. Maybe if there was something else I was missing.
Right.
And I didn't get attached, but I think I would were I at home playing it.
And we hadn't been on our feet for
Right.
8 hours at that point too.
I
so
really
I don't
feel
think
like-
I did it justice either. Like,
Yeah, I really feel like this would be one, much like Valiant Hearts, we
Right.
could really get into. We could enjoy, but it's not for a demo.
No, it's hard to demo.
And
those
don't
plays.
take, for anybody listening, don't take that as any kind of saying that we didn't like it. By no means is not what we're saying. I don't feel like we had the experience that we really needed
Right.
for this game, because
The art
at the
direction
show,
was great.
oh my
Yeah.
god, I
Yeah.
really did love the art. Yeah.
Beautiful.
it looks fantastic. It plays good. From what we saw, there was nothing bad about it. It was just, this needs to be at home, relaxed.
Yes.
You know,
You need to spend an hour at
yes,
first with this thing.
really getting familiar with it, because
Yes.
again, there seemed to be areas that I could explore, and I just kind of said, nah. and I just kept moving along because I wanted.
Felt the same way. I did the same exact thing.
Yeah, because I didn't know how long the demo was. I didn't know what I could do.
Did anybody do the dance though?
I did.
Okay. I don't know. I understand what I did or if it triggered anything because like I got it to where all 3 lights were shining on her. And I thought that was supposed to be the money to get their cupcake or whatever it was that they, they were after.
No, the couple got up, clapped, and left, and I was like,
and then and then I tried to blind the bartender or whoever it was, and then that didn't seem to matter to him. So I was like, all right, maybe I'm doing something ahead of myself or something, you know. But
that was one of those things that I thought, well, maybe if I had more time, I'd figure this out. But right now, I'm just going to keep going because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So. Yeah, it's a hard game to demo, but it's going to be a game I will check out when it does come out.
I imagine that's going to be right now it's Windows, PC, and probably Xbox. I was playing on an Xbox controller. That was my problem
right here
too.
Is Steam right now, but
just Steam. But it could definitely wind up on a platform, I'm sure.
I hope to God, man. I hope every one of these games that I've played comes to PS4 at some point.
I know.
Or we've just got to make you PC Master Race already,
I would if I had an opportunity to buy a PC for a really good price, but like my internet is so just shoddy, I'm not going to invest that until I know that I can,
Yeah, I guess nowadays you can't really go to the store and pick up your PC game and bring it back anymore. Those were the good old days.
I mean, I would tear Steam all to pieces, man.
I bet you would,
so many games on there.
Well, maybe one day you'll get lucky and you'll be able to get your hands on all that. A good, decent internet connection. Yeah. All right, I'm going to run over... Well, first of all, how many more games do you guys have before I really
That's all I made notes on. I have a bunch that I've got pinned that I'm hopeful I can get through all tomorrow. That
do you have any more?
I'm definitely excited for.
I played Cyanide and Happiness, and like you said yesterday, that thing is fixing to blow up. I'm sorry.
It will.
No, it's
even more so than it is now.
The game will do well. I have no doubt.
I love the hall monitor. I love the hall monitor.
Holly. I'm pissed. I didn't get them. I'm pissed. I'm not pissed at you guys, but at the Cyanide and Happiness, the guys, the developers, and the producers, I wanted a poster. I didn't get a damn poster.
That is a little bit crap, I will say. Yeah. Everybody who played the demo gets a poster.
My heart dropped, dude. I seen that poster.
Didn't you look at him and go, I played the demo too?
I couldn't.
Why?
I was shocked. I was shocked.
That was the one moment you were at a loss for words, is what you're telling me.
I was lost for words, and that never happens.
One time in his whole entire life.
Right? This whole freaking weekend time.
Damn cute poster. It was so awesome.
I know, and I think all of us got a different poster, actually.
Oh, really?
His is different from your... I haven't seen yours yet, but I know mine and his are different.
I want it. I'm going back tomorrow, damn it, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to stand there and tap my damn foot. Just keep hitting the joke button thing over and over again. I'm going to smack it like that one dude did. He smacked it like it, and the whole thing shut off. It said, just hit it one time is what it said on the screen.
I did see that.
He'd sit there for like 10 minutes. He would hit it, boom, 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 and he'd go, ha, ha, look what that says. And then all of a sudden he'd hit it again. And then all of a sudden he just started smacking all over like he's playing fucking Whack-A-Mole at Chuck E. Cheese. And it stops, and it says, hey, just hit one button at a time. So that's pretty cool.
Because that's their type of humor.
They know their people.
Just hit one button at a time.
All children.
It'll do a story for you.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to touch on one game real quick, and then I'm going to get into my bigger business that I got into.
What kind of bigger business you got?
The big wait that I had. First of all, I went over to the PlayStation booth when I was trying to find you guys, and I was trying to see if there was anything free, that I could play. And there happened to be one game called Omen of Sorrow.
Did you play it?
I did. And I realized why there was no one playing it.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Make you sad?
Well, no, it was just like, this makes sense now. Because I was like, all right, well, no one's playing it. Let's see what it is. And then it opened up to a fighter. And I was like, okay, I didn't expect this to be a fighting game. Okay, well, I'll just select something. I selected a werewolf character. And then I got to... No, it was some chick. And I was like, all right, well, I guess this is what I'm doing. And then I just started playing it, and it just seemed kind of sluggish. It wasn't very, I guess with a fighting game, I want intensity. Just like Injustice or Mortal Kombat. They've got these motions to them, and this just seemed kind of sluggish.
Let's be honest, man. If you're not Street Fighter, you're not Marvel versus Capcom. Even that's struggling right now. And if you're not Mortal Kombat or Injustice, you're not going to be a successful fighter.
But I hate to say that, there's not someone out there. It reminded me a lot of Killer Instinct.
Right.
For whatever reason. There was just something about it that's what it made me reminded me of.
Right.
But I was trying to do moves, I was trying to do whatever, and then just once I got done beating the character, there were two guys standing behind me going, "Oh, this looks pretty cool." I said, "Here, you can have it." And I walked off.
And then they just rocked that shit.
If they did, good on them, because it just wasn't for me.
I bet they had sweatpants on and you could see the top of their butt crack. Because everybody had that today when we was eating lunch. I ate my hot dog and I seen 7 butt cracks. I don't want to see that no more.
I successfully missed all of them.
Yeah, your back was to them. They were right behind you.
My ass crack was probably to them.
But see, we were even talking. Yeah, we're going to get off on a tangent on ass cracks. Because we were sitting there, when I sat down, there was a draft in that hall. And I realized, I was just like...
when your ass crack is hanging out.
You are going to feel that draft of cold
Now, if it feels
Boston
good,
air.
fine, more power to you. But it's there.
Yeah.
These people's butts was whistling. You know what I'm saying?
And if you've got a bad case of swamp ass, you're probably trying to dry it out.
Which by day 3...
I smelt ass while I couldn't even eat my hot dog the first 3 bites. I'm like, somebody has shit and walked by and crop dusted every one of us. And then you said, no, it's probably that right there. And it was 3 inches of ass crack. And I'm like, that's probably why.
Yeah, exactly.
I seen one, I went and took a pee. And I said, get you some of that right there. And it was 7 inches of ass crack. And she said, oh, my God. Right? I mean, you can't get away from ass crack.
No, apparently
it's
not.
everywhere.
He wasn't even sitting down. He was standing up.
He was on all fours, to be honest. He was on all fours at first. He was getting up.
Oh, I saw him when he was standing.
He got up like a grizzly bear. It was so silly, man. His ass was hanging out.
Okay, well, let's get off of ass cracks for a minute.
So the fighting game was not for you.
No, the fighting game wasn't for me.
Cracks. He was fighting werewolves.
Yeah. So before I got to that, I happened to be standing in line for an hour and a half to get into the Nintendo booth or their
you
indie
were scared
arcade.
Happy when you figured out you could do that.
What do you mean?
When you finally said, "I'm going to go do it."
I knew it was going to be a wait.
Yeah.
And I put it in my head. I said, I'm going to do this. It's always going to be a wait, probably, no matter what day I go. Let's just commit to it and do it.
Right.
And they even told me 2 hours, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to be standing here for 2 hours. I got an hour and a half, luckily. So went and winded through this line of, and there's another complaint I'm going to have. These long lines where people will just sit down in the line.
I hate that.
And it's just like, I'm standing. Everybody else is standing. Get your ass up and stand with us and keep the line tighter.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is gapping the space. You're not helping anything.
And single file helps a lot as well.
It does. Yeah.
Instead of let's tighten the line. Oh, but then now we're 4 people wide because anyway. That's a minor gripe. After the hour and a half, I got to the door. I was sitting there looking in, but they didn't let me in immediately because they're trying to clear some of the people out, which I understood.
Fire marshal came in.
But I had one game that I wanted to play, but also was looking at all the others saying, well, I wouldn't mind trying to sample some of these others, so maybe I'll get around to it. But
how did the arcade work? When you got in there, was you free reign to play whatever you wanted?
I think that's why the wait was so long is when they let you in, you're in until you're ready to leave.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though.
So
that's kind of worth it.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to take advantage of, but it also was kind of crowded. So at one point I was just like, you know what? Because there were some games that I wouldn't mind trying, but the reason I didn't play them all or at least attempt it is because I just didn't care to.
Right.
It was just like, I'm not going to die if I don't get to play this game.
Right.
So I did wander around. I'm going to leave the game I played first for last. But the last game that I played, no one was playing it. I was just wandering around. And one of the guys in there was like, hey, do you want to try this game? And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And it was, I hope I'm saying it right. It was called Pode, P-O-D-E.
Okay.
And I'd never heard of it. I thought, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. The lady that was standing there, she was going to play with me because I'm assuming the game has to be played 2-player co-op.
Okay.
So she's like, do you want to play this with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. So explain it to me. And I didn't really know what it was. A guy showed up eventually, and he wanted to play too. And she's like, okay, well, do you guys mind playing together? I was like, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So I got to meet a friend, I guess, in PAX. Thanks to Nintendo. Anyway, we both had a Switch controller, just the little ones that they come off to the side or whatever, so you tilt it on its side.
Joy-Con.
Yeah, the Joy-Con. And you're these, I was this little ball with little legs and arms and eyes, and I was kind of orange, so I was almost like this glowing sun.
You're Donald Trump.
And no, no, I'm not.
Let's
not get political. I'm talking about a game.
Orange.
And then the other guy, he was playing as this kind of square character, and when we were walking through, we're kind of emitting light, and foliage and rocks in these areas would just start to grow wherever we walked. So I was like, all right, so what are we doing? We had no idea what to do. We were just kind of winging it, learning together as we were playing it. So as we walked around, things would grow around us, plants would grow around us, and then they would either create platforms for us, or I think there was even areas where you could walk into. There was a blocked area. It was just square.
Right.
And he could get through it, but I couldn't.
So he was square.
Yes.
That's Mike Pence, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
He would get up to another level, and then he would have to do whatever on that level to find a way to get me up there. And there were even markings on the walls early on to kind of indicate, you stand on him and help him get up there to solve the puzzle further, or vice versa. Either, I need to stand on him and get up there and do something. So you had to work together to solve these puzzles to get to the next level, and so on and so on. And I think we played for maybe 10 minutes, just, solving these puzzles and trying to get through these areas. So it was a nice little comfortable co-op, couch co-op, something, casual, relaxing.
Kind of like Journey.
Yeah. I mean, in that regard, because there's not any action, there's no, enemies coming at you or anything like that. It's just you have a puzzle to solve, and there you go. Just figure it out. And they didn't hold your hand. That was the other thing, because we had to sit there and be like, well, what do we do? We'll just press a button, try to figure it out, and we eventually did. So it was kind of nice. It was definitely something I didn't expect. It was a fun little game. I wouldn't mind trying it again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just like a Switch-only game. Wouldn't surprise me if it is.
I'd say it is.
But, I mean, there were some games in there that I did see that were out on the floor.
Really?
So I was really surprised.
I figured in that little area they would have kept it
I was surprised.
Nintendo only,
Because what was that game that you pointed me at? After we were playing Guacamelee, or before we even got to Guacamelee, what was that one?
Messenger.
Yeah, it was in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never went over to that one.
That's what he was saying. The guy was
packed, though.
It was.
Everybody wanted to play. It looked awesome.
Yeah, the guy said right now the Switch is so in demand for new games because they're brand new. And I think they're taking the whole Sony aspect of this. Let's get all these indie developers until our big hitters come through, which was a
I hope it's not until. I hope they continue to do, because I think that's what's been fantastic is that they've been able to take advantage of that technology.
Right. And that's what he was saying is that's why you're going to see a lot of the games at PAX from the indie developers is going to be coming to Switch first.
Yeah.
Because they're coming to these people. They're doing like Sony did in the beginning. Now Sony still has their indie. You've seen them all today, and there's some of them aren't as good as the others, but they're there.
I just want to comment before I forget. Going to PAX and talking to all these indie devs gave me a new perspective and respect for indie games.
Oh man, right?
These people are so passionate and open-minded and so.
And there might be 3 of them that are doing this whole thing.
It's amazing, and I respect them so much, and it makes me want to play more.
Yeah,
it really opened my perspective, my mind to do this. So kudos to them.
Yeah,
for sure. While I was in there, like I said, I saw the Messenger. Kind of wanted to play it at one point, but there were 2 or 3 people. And
that was on the Switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't feel like waiting. They had a Donkey Kong game, Tropical Freeze. Wanted to play it. Again, lines, man. There were just.
So wait, you waited in line to wait in another line?
Yeah. Because people were already playing the games. Funny enough, Wolfenstein was not getting much love. I noticed that.
Dude, I'm telling you, first-person shooters are not going to get love on Switch.
No, I mean there were people playing it, but it was just to that point where I think there was a guy in front of me, and the lady who was letting people in, she's like, "What do you want to play?" And he's like, "Wolfenstein." She's like, "Yeah, get on over there. It's not getting any love." So, I mean, there were people playing it, but they did not have lines. It was like,
Well, I mean,
one
is
guy,
that
one
like
guy,
a new
one guy,
game
and that's
though
it.
to
Yeah, it
people?
just came out.
Wolfenstein. It's been out a while, right?
part
So
two.
like,
No, this is part 2.
Part
it just
two,
came
yeah.
out like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
okay, but
It's-
still a
it's new to
couple
the
months when
Switch,
you're
though.
getting faced with games that you have yet to come out or have yet to get your hands on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. That might be why they're like, okay, we've played this game, kind of like Sea of Thieves when we walked by.
There was nobody.
There was
there.
nobody there. People have played it. They've bought it. They've done it. You know.
But I mean, the big games that people were playing were the popular ones like Donkey Kong. They had Hyrule Warriors was there. There was lines for that. And when I say lines, it was just like if a game was 2-player, you had 2 people, but there were also like another set and then another set. It was at least
Right.
6 people.
was there a cutoff on any of the games, or just as long as you wanted to stand?
Well,
there and play them?
yeah, everything was a demo where it would stop.
Okay, gotcha.
And then each booth had a Nintendo representative who was trying to, guide you through it.
Right.
And they would just kind of give you, tips and tricks.
Just the
and what-
typical booth, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And then when your demo was over, it was like, all right, thanks for playing. Here's your ticket.
Get the hell out.
Go on. But they didn't tell you to exit. It was just like you can
I
go
would.
play all the other games you want, just whatever you want to do. But once you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
So it's fair enough.
Stop teasing me and tell me about No More Heroes.
Yes. The reason I went in there
Yeah,
was No More
yeah.
Heroes. I had to wait. There were the game that was being demoed. It was a 2-player, which I didn't expect.
Right.
So that was a shock to me. I was like, okay, this is 2-player co-op. Okay, interesting. But when I got up there, I lucked out because there were 2 people. There were 2 booths for No More Heroes. Try the strikes again if you are following properly. If you want to do it right. There was a couple, and then there was another couple, and then there was just me. And I was like, I'm a schmuck. Only in here alone. Everybody else is playing
Maybe
together.
I should have stayed with you in line.
That's fine. But then finally, there was a couple standing next to the other booth, and I thought they were looking to play. So when that guy finished, they all kind of drifted off together, and I was like, the booth is empty. And then the lady was there. She was like, nodding to me coming over there. And I was like, all right, I'm going to whip on over here to her. And she's like, do you know this game? And I'm like, yes, I do. She's like, you played the others in series? I was like, yes, I have. And she's like, okay. So she gave me the rundown on, the basics, the mechanics of it. And have any of you played No More Heroes?
No.
I have not, and I feel like I'm disappointing you when I say
No.
that.
No.
You're not missing
It's one of those games that was mainly on the Wii. I think
I had a regular week.
the very first one did get a PS3 release, like a re-release at some point when they were trying to push the Move and stuff like that, because it was really built around that engine, because it was meant to be played with the Wii remote. Because the way a lot of the mechanics worked is when you would fight, it would give you an option to swing your
Sure.
blade, and I think you didn't just swing like that all, crazy willy-nilly. It was almost like moves that would come in after the fact, like a finisher. So you would hit your buttons, and then you just, be attacking like that, and then a move would show up to tell you to slash diagonally or slash across, and then you would just, swing your arm like that, and then blood would just go gushing everywhere, and it was just insane.
And then you passed out.
I mean, you've seen you shut your mouth. So I mean, you've seen Kill Bill.
Yeah.
That's the type of
wow.
insane blood gushing we're talking
How
about.
did I miss this?
Yeah.
Because
was
it
on the Wii.
really did. It went under the radar. A lot of people missed this game, and it's like a cult type
Yeah.
game now. So when
That's
the
how
first one,
Suda's games are, though.
yes,
To be honest.
yeah, we've said that numerous times. He's got just these underground games, but they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
So when the first one came out, it intrigued me just hearing different things about it, because I think one of the first things that hooked me is they were just they laid it out in probably a Nintendo Power or whatever game magazine I was reading. They said you're a guy who is just kind of a schlub who's trying to set up these assassin missions where you have to be the best. So you've got to work your way to number 1. So you have a mission, you have to pay for the contract to take on the next competitor. But to do that, you have to earn money. So you have to go around and you do jobs. And the jobs are where you could go mow lawns, you could go do deliveries, whatever. I mean, it was just random, off-the-wall shit. And it was like, so to go kill people, I have to go mow someone's lawn.
I gotta go deliver my newspapers this morning.
Tell them how you made a save.
Oh, yeah, I was getting to that.
Oh.
And I think this is the one that hooked me, is they said to save your game, you go to the bathroom.
Drop a save.
You drop a save. That's what they called it.
Oh dear God. Okay, I still have the Wii. I think I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to go dig this
You're
up.
not missing anything. The game
Really?
sucks. No.
Shut your
Shut
mouth.
up. This
But
guy.
there are so many. The game itself, if you're big into anime, which I am not, but
you
there
are.
seems to be a lot of heavy influence to that for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird.
Well,
I
then
just
it kind of makes a little bit more sense for the off-the-wall jobs, though.
yeah.
Yeah, because
I mean-
these Japanese people, they're
But at the same time,
Very creative people.
and do a lot of odd jobs.
but at the same time, as I'm saying
That's what I
that,
was gonna say.
I've said before, if you've heard us talk about Suda51 or me talking about Suda51, he loves luchador wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So there are luchador masks you can collect, and you can actually learn wrestling moves to do finishers while you're fighting. So little things like that, you see a lot of his love and influence added into the game. So that just makes it better. And then what he did with the second one is he took that concept and he streamlined it to perfection as far as I'm concerned. Because the first one, they tried to do something where it was like open world sort of. So you would drive to these jobs and places and stuff like that. They cut that out completely in part 2. And at first I was like, well, why would you do that? But when you realize you don't need to go driving around this town because it really served no purpose. You just fast travel everywhere. Fine. You're just cutting right to the chase. You're cutting out all the fat and you're giving me exactly what I want. And you still had to do jobs, but they actually turned those into jobs that were done like 8-bit minigames, which made it 10 times more fun. So you would do like a extermination mission where you had to go kill bugs in a building, and it was just like this 8-bit platformer like Dig Dug or something like that, where you go around, destroying all the bugs, and however well you do is how much money you'll earn. Mm-hmm. But my favorite minigame, I think, in part 2 was where you're you're cooking steaks for each customer will come in and they'll kind of put up like a little picture, like how well they want their steak. It's either rare, medium, or well done. And you have to make sure that you do what they want or they're going to get pissed. So they'll just come in, and then you'll see it. So you got to put the meat on there and you kind of count it and then flip it. And they'll be like, yay, or they'll be mad. Yeah. Because I had one guy say, this fucking sucks, and then throw a knife at my
head. Wait, threw a knife at your head? Oh my God.
See, okay, I have to play this now.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But the humor of the game, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just, these games were so fun to me. So knowing that they were making another one, because I've been waiting so long for them to make another one, I was excited to see this. Now, I will say my first complaint for the game, and granted I didn't get to see it there because it was hard to hear, and I don't know if they were doing voice acting for the demo, because this demo was specifically made for PAX, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the actor who did Travis Touchdown's voice, I heard, was not coming back, and it was not because he chose not to, it's because they didn't ask him. So, and he was a little like, okay, well, why wasn't I asked? I would have gladly come back. And he's what makes that character for me. Just that attitude he brings to him, because he's such a cocky little asshole.
Yeah.
But he's got some sort of, I guess with that cockiness, you would kind of expect he's just this ultimate badass, and he can be, but he's also just this big doof. Because...
like me.
Yeah. Because there's a girl that he has the hots for, and she's what runs the contest and everything like that. And then I think it was part 2 at the beginning. She was, spoilers sort of, she was supposed to be dead, and she shows back up, and he's like, "Oh, Sylvia, oh gosh, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "It doesn't matter." That's how the humor works. Is like everything in the other game. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It does.
Didn't I tell you I was writing a story?
Yeah.
That's just how that one ended.
Exactly.
You should start reading my books, buddy.
So it's like they just wipe the slate clean. It's like, here, we're back to this thing again. You've got to climb to the top. Even though you were number 1 last time, that's a whole new rules. And he's like, okay, well, why should I have to work my way back to the top? God damn it, I worked my ass off to get here. And she's like, but I'm going to do something for you. And she gets all sensual with him, and he's like, oh shit. And he's just getting all excited. And then suddenly he's got these beam katana, which is kind of like a lightsaber. And as soon as she's like getting all sensual with him, it just extends. So there's a lot of sexual humor. That's another thing too you've got to get used to. And that, I think, is what surprised a lot of people with No More Heroes for the Wii. Being a Nintendo game, it was just like, this is for the Nintendo? People were flipping out because of how violent and sexual it was, because that's not Nintendo, or at least not what they're known for.
They did have Manhunt on the Wii, though, to be fair, which I thought was weird, too.
But, it was just a shock for people, and I think that's what drew me to it, because I was on the Nintendo, and I was like, no one else is getting this, but I am? Okay, right, hell yeah. So I loved it, but as far as this game went, I said that it was a PAX only demo. Now, they, according to what I know of the game, Travis is being put into video games of other kinds. Now, the game that was demoed there, or at least the level that they demoed, this is not a game I know at all. So I'm curious if this was done on purpose, because the game he was in was called Thunder Tiger Lightning or something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong. I hate that I'm ruining it, because it was a bitchin' ass name, and I was doing my best to try and remember it. But he was thrust into this game, and he has to work his way out and defeat the boss of Tiger Thunder.
I gotta look.
Yeah, please do, because
Tiger Thunder.
It was just.
I really hope that's the name of it.
Tiger Thunder.
It's something along that line.
So it's a video game, though. He went into another video game.
Yes,
called Tiger Thunder something. Okay.
And I guess the reason I'm a little disappointed that I don't know what the game is because we heard when it was announced that he's going to be going into Hotline Miami.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, that was like the hook for me. I was like, are you kidding me? Because when they played the trailer, I think at E3 a year ago or so, wasn't it?
What?
For No More Heroes 3, you could hear Hotline Miami music. He was the guy he was coming up on to kill was playing Hotline Miami. I was like, what is going on here?
Was it that Moon song?
It was like dun 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 dun, and the intensity was there.
So I miss
was
this?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to show you after the show.
Forgotten.
But just to see it was there, and I heard the music, and I saw the game, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then it's Travis, and I'm like, what? My mind was blown, because I was seeing two games that I love so much meshed together. Mm-hmm. It was like mind blown. What the hell's going on here?
I wonder if this is the game that we saw day one, and
you thought it sounded like
Hotline
maybe.
Miami music.
Shoot, what was that called, though?
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out what it was called, and I couldn't remember.
Hotline Orlando.
No. But anyway, the way the game was laid out, again, it disappointed me, just in the sense that it was not a game I was familiar with. But again, when they were doing the dialogue for the characters, having banter back and forth, they very much commented, it's like, where am I? What is this? It's like, don't you worry about it. This is a game that you've just got to work your way through. It's like, bullshit. This is a PAX demo, and you know it.
Nice.
And I was like, it's like, that doesn't matter. You've got to get through this level right now. Don't be wasting everybody's time. There's a line forming in the back. So I was like, yeah, this is perfect.
Suda 51.
Yeah, this is good writing, because they know exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah.
So the combat is different from the other games, because they would have levels before you would actually get to the bosses in the other ones. Mm-hmm. And it would be like this, I guess you'd call it like the third person, but it's middle of the screen. You're just kind of running down hallways and whatnot, and you could fight, and enemies would kind of come at you. You could adjust your camera depending on where you were at. But this was kind of more like a diagonal third person, you know what I mean?
Kinda
like top down.
Kind of like what Dead Nation was?
Yeah, a little closer, not too far away. So, I mean, I know there's a game out there that this looks like.
A lot of the Housemarque games are like that.
Yeah. So you're going around. The combat's faster. I'll give it that. Because when you're going around, you have a lot more options for combat. So you're just hacking and slashing enemies coming at you, and you're just going to town on them. They still kept in, and I didn't mention this, the lewdness that they do, and they did it so perfectly with the Wii. Here it doesn't work as well, I don't feel like, because with the Wii it was just it was a given. In the game for this one, you have to, well, in every one of the games, your beam katana has a battery charge, and you have to charge it. So, you know, in most games, or things like that, here you kind of hold the button and you just kind of shake your Joy-Con or whatever. In the other game, you hold it, and Travis is holding it like this, and he just starts up and down, up and down.
If you guys missed that.
Yeah. It was a very...
He was masturbating.
That's how it looked in the game. He's...
Yeah, that's what we're insinuating.
Working his beam katana to get the charge
Just
back.
gotta get that charge going.
So that idea is still here.
My flashlight.
I was gonna say. I was just gonna say they have flashlights.
Just that's the mechanic. It's nothing dirty.
My flashlight. I meant to say my flashlight.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
okay, yeah, that's a different thing.
That mechanic's still in play. And then there were new powers that you could do. It's like you could hold a button, and then he could do special moves based on how much of a charge you had built up. I guess killing enemies. But again, it was a little hard to kind of focus on that. I didn't even realize it until the lady was just like, oh, by the way, these are other things you can do. And I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't really utilize them as much. I tried them out just to see what they do, but I wasn't sure what they did. I was just having fun going hack slash, and taking enemies down.
Let's cut to the chase.
Uh-huh.
Are you worried about this game, and do you give it a
Let
thumbs
me
up?
get through it.
I want to know right now.
You will get to it in a minute. Let me get through it. So I went through the area. There were a lot of jokes. There were a lot of things. They went back to drop a save because I saw the save thing.
You get to poop your saves again.
Yes, because I saw a save point and I was like, why do I need... Fuck it. I'm going to do it.
I'm a save scummer. My character would need to go to the doctor.
So I did. I dropped a save. He went back to dropping his pants. I was like, all right, Travis, you're doing it right. And then I continued on, found the boss. I still want to know... You guys talk for a moment. I gotta know the name of that game because I'm ruining it.
Yeah, I was
I'm
looking
ruining
up, like,
it right now.
Didn't you say when you charged the katana in the first one, doesn't he kind of act like he got off?
In what now?
In the first game when you charge your katana.
Yeah.
Doesn't he act like he got off?
Well, he kind of makes a sound. He's like,
yeah.
Like he's really struggling at it. You know what I mean?
Does he do that still?
No, well, I couldn't really...
Well, you better be strong enough for it now, damn it.
I couldn't really hear it, because it was so loud and they didn't give me headphones or anything like that.
I don't know what to Google to help you.
Gosh.
All I
want to know.
Thunder.
I just need to tell you what that is. Because if I don't...
Black Tiger Crouching Hidden Dragon. That's what it's called.
No. But anyway, you go and you find the enemy... You fight him. It's a little boss battle. It seems so familiar to other games that I've played, but it's not the No More Heroes I knew. Because when you fought the bosses in those games, it was like a full-on crazy battle. And no battle was the same. That was the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that these will be the same way. But it's... I don't know, there was just something unique about it because everyone you'd come across, like I remember, I think one that you came across in the first one, trying to find good comparisons here, is there was a guy who was singing out in the middle of a stadium, and you walk out there and he's just singing this ballad and he taunts you to come attack him and kill him, and that was the beauty of the enemies.
Door?
No.
That's what it says right here.
No, that's not it.
2018.
Yeah, May. Oh, I thought this was
No.
2016.
Come on, I've got to find that name of it.
Looking up their incidents
I know Tiger and Lightning, Tiger and Thunder were in that damn title, and it's just gonna kill me, son of a bitch.
As soon as we stop, you're gonna be like,
yeah. And I tried. I should have written it down. That's the problem here. I was trying
played too many things today.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, you fight the boss. I win the game, and what was funny is when I finished. And they were having that banter back and forth. It's like, well, you did good, kid. This is really awesome. And it's like, yeah, well, this isn't the real thing anyway. We're just sitting up here in Boston, and just playing at this PAX show. And he's like, yeah, well, maybe you ought to come back sometime. He's like, yeah, well, maybe I'll wear my red socks. And I was like, all right, some nice little winks and nods there.
None of that was nice.
Well, for Boston people. But it was a fun experience. I don't know if that's what's going to be. Obviously, the dialogue will not be in the game for sure, but it was
maybe an unlock later on.
If that's what the game's going to be, as a whole, I'm going to be a little disappointed because I'm kind of hoping that each new game that he goes into will be something completely different. And I think that's what I was kind of hoping for, is that maybe they would showcase 2 levels, just maybe give you a taste of this, and then if something was going to be different for another game, then you can see that. And not to say that this wasn't fun, but I don't know what to expect. And if that's all it's going to be, then it's no different than some other games that I've played in the past. So
just kind of like a retelling of the same story on a different console?
Well, no, they did say this is a sequel. Okay. So it is a continuation, but it's just they've downgraded for me. Not graphically or anything like that, but you've taken a step back in what made the other game so fun, and you've turned it into something that it shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
Maybe they fell prey to some feedback they shouldn't have taken.
And I don't know. This was just a taste. This is a demo. But if they told me at that show, oh, yes, every level will be different, like a whole new game style play, like if that game that they're talking about was that type of game, and then you go to something like Hotline Miami and they craft that level based on Hotline Miami, I am in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to tell me these are the games we're laying out, and he will play these games as those games are.
Yeah.
I'm in.
That would be
You
cool.
have sold me that switch at that moment. But again, this game that they were talking about, it's not a real game, doesn't exist. But from what I remember hearing, the games that are going to be in the final version will be games that do exist. So I want to believe in this game. I believe in the franchise. I want this to be good.
Is there a projected release date on it, or do you think this is like super early?
Not that I'm aware of. They didn't say anything. I didn't see anything that said any, set release dates. They didn't have any cards. I know. And I'm hoping we'll see more maybe at E3 where they'll actually give us a lot more insight.
Yeah, it's just
because
around the corner.
If I get that confirmation of what I'm assuming here, then maybe I'll feel 10 times different. I don't know. But I love this franchise. And
I think
don't
you
want
sold me on at least going back and playing the first one.
I don't want to see it go down the wrong way. And I can't imagine Suda51 would do that to this game.
There's no telling what they're going to do to this.
I don't know. I really don't. But it would just, for it to simplify itself to what that game was on that demo is not like him at all. It's almost like he just went to autopilot and said, eh. And that's not him. He's always...
And he's still 100% full on.
Yeah.
He always is.
It.
Yeah. And it took him a long time to get to this point because I think No More Heroes 2 came out, it's been a while. 2010 maybe?
I was actually going to say that. That's what I thought I just saw on the Googles.
Yeah. So it's been... He
was working on Let It Die.
Yeah.
He did Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was another game in between that came out on PS3, and I don't remember what it was. And I missed that one, too, which I was disappointed in myself for.
I think Let It Die was a big deal. He worked on that for a while because it went from one kind of game to another. It went, and then it ended up being free to play.
Yeah. Which I didn't get into that as...
I didn't either.
I guess the way it kind of laid itself out was just kind of like, it's not for me. And, I didn't expect all of his games to be, like, perfect for me. I do love his work, but not everything's going to stick. So, but, hey, that's all I've got on that. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
I'm sorry that I tried to rush you to find out how you thought about the game.
It's fine. I just have a process in telling my stories.
No, I don't like your process.
You shut your mouth. Hopefully, you know what, people? If you enjoyed my story, you enjoyed that passion, yeah, just let me know. You can tweet us at Super Mega Crash.
And follow it.
And
so
follow
get all the updates.
And tell your friends.
And don't just
like it. You gotta retweet.
Retweet it and
the button's
and
right next to it.
Yeah, you hit the heart button. We love it when you hit the heart button, but go right up to the top of that and hit follow, and then go retweet.
Yeah,
you can make a comment when you retweet.
You can.
All you got to say is love the show or awesome.
Show.
You know what? I love gifts. You can just gift me up.
He is the king of gifts, guys.
I like it when you tell me we suck.
My gift game is on point. I've been told that.
Who's out there willing to show him up by retweeting with an amazing gif?
And then I'll
That is my
retweet you
challenge
right
to you.
back with another awesome GIF.
And he will. And
We'll
just
GIF
depends
all
on
day.
how you're into this competition, man.
This is a gaming podcast, not a gift podcast.
Well, we're just saying.
Well, we're
trying
talking
to get
about our
people
tweet game right
excited
now.
because just so you know, the Super Mega Crash Brothers Twitter is new, so that's why we're pushing it. We're trying to get all of you out there to
It's a new baby.
to follow us another way so you can tell us what you think. We're trying to give you options, whatever's best for you.
We're leaning more towards Twitter now.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying different things,
Facebook
seeing what works. Facebook just wasn't working for us.
No, got too political.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of political stuff coming through.
Yeah, so much
political shit. Didn't
But that's our show.
it is our
for
show.
today.
Show.
And I think we need to do an alternate show later tonight if we figure out the name for that game that Travis is in.
Well,
Like a
how about
little
I'll just
edit.
come back to
Yeah.
it tomorrow with
We'll
the
just
actual
drop a tweet
name.
about it.
Okay.
We'll have to tweet
You know
about
what?
it.
Yes. If somebody,
See?
yeah, there you go. If somebody can correct me in a tweet, I will give you $1.
If you show up at PAX tomorrow.
That's right.
Come to PAX, get $1.
And then find him.
I'll let you borrow my chapstick
That's right.
again if your lips get
Yeah,
chapstick.
I do need that. This house
Did it
is-
work good?
Yeah, it did for a
Chapstick
while.
worked good, didn't it?
But it's just so dry. It's so dry.
Okay. It's okay.
Why is it dry?
Got all the chapstick
See,
you
these
need, baby.
boys ain't suited for the north here.
No, they are not.
No,
I
Shut
forgot my
your mouth.
moisturizers.
gotta
Now-
get the moisturizers.
Y'all are
and the
being
little
way too
chipsticks.
mouthy right now. Way too mouthy.
Anyway,
Who's too mouthy? Where's that power button?
Me?
it's
Not
okay.
me.
All right. Anyway, guys, join us again tomorrow when we cover day 3, our last
Sad
day
day.
at PAX,
It's a very
where we
sad day.
hope to have more games that we actually get to play, different things, different opinions, whatever it be. Hopefully, it will be something that we can get you excited for, something we're excited for, or maybe we can actually find something that we just really hate.
I'm
We
going
can
to do
have-
a review
I can
on-
say I don't think I've played one where I just went. I didn't finish the demo at least. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I've come across one yet.
I think we all committed to at least finishing the demo.
Yeah.
We
Well,
wanna
I
do
have
that.
to say I'm gonna have to go back for my memory of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, my feet
My back and everything was hurting so bad, and
I was
having to
ready to
stand
go.
there, it felt so
Yeah.
bad. I was like, I gotta come
They
back.
need
here
they
today.
need to give us some stools.
right.
My wrist was hurting too,
I was
so
very
Yeah.
grateful for the cushiony carpets, though.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
those
It was like
carpets
heaven.
feel so good.
Yeah.
You walk them like you're like, oh my feet hurt, and then all of a sudden you hit that carpet and you're like, oh my god,
I was like, I'm walking
like
on
is this
heaven
heaven?
right now.
This is heaven right here. Sony's carpet felt great because I was like, I don't want to leave this booth.
you're right.
There's another one that felt even better than that. I think that it was. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, I think it was Annapurna. Their carpet. I tripped
Yeah, they
over
had-
it.
they
I
had a
tripped
good
over their
carpet.
carpet going in. It was so thick. I knew I
Annapurna.
like this place.
Annapurna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we found Donut County.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Outer Limits.
Annapurna.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I thought you were saying like two separate names, like it was someone's first and last name.
No.
Annapurna. My
Maybe
cousin
I need a nap.
Annapurna. You don't know my cousin?
Don't you know Annapurna?
Bitch, crazy.
All right. Anyway, guys, join us again tomorrow, day 3, final day. But until then, game on.